Guys, I checked. It's actually been 4 months since I last did a book haul. It's probably my best ever. Hello and welcome to my channel, and that's right, today it is the return of the book haul, and it's been a while because I've actually been doing, I feel pretty darn good with the Read Your Shelf challenge, and I've not purchased a whole lot of books. Even here, some of these were ones that were sent to me or that I got elsewhere, and not a ton that I purchased, but I realized as I just had gotten a couple more things recently that I'm like, oh, I actually am due because my spot where I'm storing them is about full, so it's time. So we're going to start first because I got this actually quite a while ago, and I've showed it in the review, but I don't think I included it in a book haul, so we will. But this Ray Bradbury collection, The Martian Chronicles, Illustrated Man, Golden Apples of the Sun. This is a, almost dropped it, but we saved it. This is a Barnes & Noble version, and I've liked a lot of theirs. It's not one that's currently on sale, which is where I ended up tracking down a copy of this used online for a pretty decent price. But I got this after reading The Illustrated Man, really enjoying it, and then having Martian Chronicles coming up, when I was doing a buddy read over on Jake the Bookish Drummer channel for the Ray Bradbury Book Club, which I realized I've fallen off of the last couple of months. I should try to catch up. But anyway, really pretty copy, one that I enjoy, so I was happy to add that to the collection. And then let's see, next up we have here The Golden Queen and Lords of the Seventh Swarm, which just look at these. So these are by Dave Wolverton, and it's kind of weird sci-fantasy, I think. And this is the same author, David Farland. He wrote under Dave Wolverton, and they sound so odd. And this is, I think, this is two books, books 1 and 3 of a series. They sound so odd, and this was somebody sent me a message saying they had these and knew I was a fan of Farland for Rune Lords, and I could not pass up grabbing these. I have no idea when I'll get to them or if I'll even like them, but it's just they sound and look wild, and I was immediately interested. So yeah, it was good to get them. And then we have, adding to the Tad Williams collection, The War of the Flowers, which is a standalone, and found this copy used, just came across it in pretty darn good condition, actually. And I've not read this one yet. I've heard good things, but it's definitely one that I will get to. It's pretty long of a standalone, but I'm always interested to get to more Tad. I've been reading a lot of Tad lately and having a good time, so that's definitely one that I will be interested to get to. The only problem is now I'm going to have to adjust the Tad shelf because it's already too full, and this is not even the only Tad Williams book that's here. So we'll have to see how that's going to work. But yeah, we have that. And then we have The Haley Traveler by Mike Molman. He sent this one over to me. This is his new sci-fi series. I've been a really big fan of his Protectors of Patani series, which is right over here. And this is he's trying out some sci-fi. And I had read some early stuff with this as well, too, that he wrote. And so I'm interested to continue here. I have not gotten to this one yet, but I'm hoping to quite soon. His stuff is usually pretty quick reading. And so, yeah, excited to get to hear and try a full length of him doing sci-fi after I really enjoyed his fantasy. And then we have a couple of things that were sent to me by a viewer who got me a couple of books, including A Touch of Light by Thiago Abdallah, which I've meant to read for absolutely forever. I have this on my list for a long time. And I think I have the ebook of it, but gosh, such a beautiful physical book. It's one that I had on my wish list for a long time just because it is a beautiful book. And sometimes these ones that I've had forever in e-version and I just never get to having the physical version will remind me. So I'm hoping that's what happens here because I've been really looking forward to that. Thiago is somebody I've interacted with a ton. I just never actually gotten around to reading his book, and so I would really like to. Also sent me A Blade for Hire by Christopher Brand, which is one that I know less about. I think this is another of the endless recommendations from Andrew with it as well. But thanks, Doug, for sending both of these. This was a little bit ago, but this is supposed to be, I think, like Flintlock fantasy because it does have muskets, and so it sounds like an interesting time, something a little bit different there as well. And then a couple of things, because speaking of Andrew, I have more around here in different piles, but some things that he's sent over to me, including Boy's Life by Robert McCammon, which was something that he was enjoying, and he was not sure if I was going to enjoy it, so he sent me this copy to try and bully me into reading. And we'll see, because this does sound really odd, and so this is one I don't know how I'm going to actually feel about it, but we'll definitely give it a shot at some point. And then he sent me this copy of Flames of Mira by Clay Harmon. I think another one too. He was just trying to he's working on unhauling, because he's still not been nearly as good at hauling, at stopping the hauls as I have been. So this one I think he was passing along to me as well, to clear up some space, and so he added that as well. And then we have one I did actually purchase, which there are a few in here, but Empire of Sand by Tasha Suri. Came across this. This is the first book in her series from before. The Burning Kingdoms, I think, is the one that I'm reading, which I actually have an e-arc of the third book that I need to get to. It's another thing I need to get to this month, probably. But so I figured, hey, came across a really solidly priced copy at Half Price Books. That was a good one to pick up and try that out once I finish the current series that I am reading. Then we have Luthien, A Tale from Fromir by Sam Middleton. And this is a review copy sent, which I also like. That's a pretty interesting looking, cool cover here as well. This is a review copy on the sci-fi side. I think this one's supposed to be kind of space opera-y. And it does have some like fantasy elements in it too, so sci-fantasy, I think. And so I do, I like to mix it up and do some sci-fi, but when you throw in some fantasy for me, I do like my fantasy. So that's another one that I'll be looking to get to hopefully this year. We'll have to see on that one, though. We do have another thing I purchased, and then some more things that I got from Andrew. But I came across this first edition of Tail Chaser Song by Tad Williams. I read this, and this was in okay condition. Not like the best, but considering it's a first edition and it was not very expensive, I'm like, yeah, that's good enough for me. But one I've read, I did enjoy, and so getting this into my collection was fun. I just looked at it, literally just a cat, and we had some more cats in the back, but it was one that I had very low expectations for, because I loved Tad, but just knowing the story, I had very low expectations and still really enjoyed it, so was happy to get to that. Then we have Deathstalker by Simon Green, which sounds like this is just like a silly, absurd, kind of fun type of book. And Andrew accidentally bought 2 copies, so I lucked out there. And then we have continuing him trying to bully me into reading things, which is a normal theme for sure. Sent me this copy of The Keeper Chronicles by J.A. Andrew. This is a bind-up of the whole trilogy, and this is a very pretty book. And this is good timing, because I actually just got this on audio. They had the bind-up on sale for audio too, so I had just gotten it, and then he sent this over. He's been trying to get me to read this one for quite some time, so I definitely will have to try, and hopefully the physical copy is a reminder and I can do multi-format, should help me get through. And then he sent me The Chronicles of the Raven by James Barclay, which includes Dawn Thief, Noonshade, and Nightchild. And he described this series as like David Gemmell meets Glenn Cook, which is a super interesting description. And so I'll be interested to find out too. Another trilogy, because he's just trying to make sure that I do add more books, of course. But they seem pretty short, so I'll have to give that a shot. And then finally, which I'll have a short coming out for this, where I showed off a little bit more, which probably should have come out before this, but yeah, I have Shields in Shadow by Andy Peliquin, and this was a review copy that was sent over here to me as well. And this is like interesting font and design here, and then I'll show off more of this in a short, like I said, with the packaging, because there was some cool stuff there. That one will definitely be sometime next year, but we'll see when I end up getting to that. But there you have it. There is an actual honest goodness book haul. I feel like that was a very justifiable amount of books, but also the fact that I haven't done a book haul since May makes me feel better, because it's been actually, when I think about it, almost 5 months probably since I filmed a book haul. So yeah, that's pretty good that we got that long, and I feel like this is a reasonable number of books. So let me know your thoughts on any of these, as well as if you have any notable things that you've hauled in the last several months with it as well. If you've done better than me or worse than me, always fun kind of chatting with those book habits. So let me know in the comments. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the links in the description, as always, for the Patreon if you want to support what I do, as well as the Wizardly Enclave Discord, where, as always, we have the Book Buyers Anonymous channel where you can go for support with your book buying addiction. But it's a lot of fun. We'd love to have you there. And then, of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.